Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the live discussion of our first read-along book of children. Legacy of Orisha is the series called. We are here to discuss Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the first book in the series and first book in the trilogy. And so we're gonna be talking about this now. I hope some of you will pop up because I see there is nobody right now. It's a little sad. Anyway, um, yeah, we can go through Copile system as we do usually for my book club and discuss those like categories. So I'm actually gonna prepare that first. And yeah, I don't know if we should start first with like a non-spoiler, but I think I prefer just to talk about spoiler parts or like spoilers, so we can discuss like honestly from the start. Um, so I've got it now in the copile, and here's my system here. Okay, well, it's not my system; it's G system. I can link her down below after the fact, and yeah, we are. Going to start, or like we're gonna do the spoilers from the start because that's just how I feel is better. So if do I have the ticker there? I don't. I need to adjust it. Spoilers for children. Hmm. There. So when somebody else pops in and they can know immediately that we will be talking about spoilers, and if they haven't read the book and don't want to have spoilers, so they can jump out right away. Hello, I see some of you are hopping in. Hello, Kate. Hello, Larissa. Very happy to see you here. For a moment, I was terrified I was going to be here alone, but it's okay. um, Hello, everyone. Hi, I never read this book series, but here it is amazing. We're gonna be talking about that today. I wouldn't, well, I mean, depends. I would not personally describe it as amazing, but why is the camera struggling? But I think it was really good. I am like not positively surprised. I kind of expect a little bit more because people do say they love it, but I did enjoy it a bit. But I'm also not that much into YA fantasy or YA in general, and this is definitely a YA book. So considering that, I really enjoyed it. Spoil away because I don't plan to read it. No, you don't? Okay. Can I ask why not? If you hear it, or is it not your style? Like you don't read fantasy? That's also great. Um, but yeah, so we'll be talking spoilers. Um, and yeah, is there anything anybody wants to just bring from the start that like this is what I need to talk about right now, or I'm not gonna be calm the entire live show? Then bring it on now, and we can start with that. I'm gonna start maybe actually saying what the book is about, even though, as I said, people probably already left if they don't want to be spoiled. So anybody who's still here, either they don't care or they they already read it. But I'm still gonna say, um, it is YA fantasy set in Western Africa, or it is literally like I actually saw a map yesterday and I saw that some of the towns that are mentioned here, like I know Lagos is a real town, but then there were some other ones that I thought were fictitious, but they were not. And so that was interesting that there was actually real towns mentioned. I don't know how real were the descriptions of the cities. I would imagine pretty real. But anyway, it is a YA fantasy set in West Africa where there are these people called diviners. Like, this is one thing I did not fully grasp. It's diviners and magi. I don't know if there are two different groups of people or if they are the same. I think it's diviners who have the potential to become a magi, I think. And we have our main character, Zeli, who is a diviner. And yeah, she gets into all kinds of trouble. And then one day, she has to run away with her brother and a girl she met. And so we follow that story. We have 3 points of view, which I think was really cool. Zeli was not my favorite point of view, to be honest. So, or at least not my favorite character. That's not she's not the character I enjoyed the most in the book. Like nothing wrong with her, but that was not my favorite. Um, and yeah, I'm just I can't just say what the book is about, can I? Um, the book is about that the king, the current reigning king, uh, killed or like chased and tried to eradicate all the magi people and to kill magic because he had something in the past that kind of made him hate magi people and that they don't care about anything, only about themselves. So he wants to get rid of all of them and get rid of the magic so nobody else gets hurt. But he takes it to the opposite extreme and starts killing everybody and basically manages to kill magic. And now we follow these our like basically four characters. One of them doesn't get their own POV, but we have four main characters, and we follow their journey into um, trying to save magic or bring magic back. I don't know what's with the camera. I think it's a little off, isn't it? Um, if you give me just a second. Maybe it'll be a little better. Sorry about that. Ah, I don't know. I think it's a little bit better. And yeah, basically that's what the book is about. So we'll see. I really liked the African influence in this. I don't know much about African culture, so this felt really refreshing. Yes, definitely. Also, as Kate says, love the audiobook. It was well read and the accents were well done. It helped with the pronunciations. Yes, definitely. I think well, that was my favorite thing about the audiobook. The audiobook was amazing. The narrator was had a great accent that definitely like built up the story, especially since it's set in Africa, because otherwise like I am not able to read in or like imagine the African accent in my head, so it would lose that dimension if I read it on my own only. But I read it both the book and the audiobook, so that was amazing. Definitely helped with the pronunciations of different names and places. So yes, I absolutely agree with that. Um, did you? Yeah, I think both audiobook and the physical book had it. Did you have the last? What was it? The acknowledgements? No, a note from the author. Author's note. Yeah. Um, did you listen to that or did you read that? Let me know, because the audiobook had it, so I listened to it. But I feel like it doesn't quite add up in a way that it's enriching the story. But that's probably just me. Let me know. Um, but yeah, I don't know if there is anything specific I would like to pick from this. I think what I would like to like point out the most for me would be Inan and his internal battle between good and bad, between magic, no magic, or support his father and hate his father. This kind of like realization that his father might have been wrong, and especially because he himself becomes a magi, and at the same time, and that happens before he realizes his father is evil, even though I don't know how he can realize that so late. But he himself is a magi, and uh, he wants to kill magic, but he has magic himself. So like this kind of internal fight, I really thought was interesting, and that's kind of what kept me going. Not that I wanted to DNF otherwise, but that's kind of what drove the book for me, was to see what would happen with Inan, if he would keep with his goal to, kill the magic, or if he would kind of find that that's not actually how it was, or like his father is actually not as saint as he would think. So that was probably my favorite part of the book. um, I'm hoping uh, you learn a bit more about Mama. I forgot her name, Mama Agba. In the next book we learn, yeah, more of her backstory, and maybe Zeli's mom. Yeah, yeah, I think that would be really, really good. um, Mama Agba was great, but I don't know. It doesn't say here what this book is about. After battling the impossible, Zeli and Amari have finally succeeded in bringing magic back to the land of Orisha, but the ritual was more powerful than they could have imagined, reigniting the powers of not only the Magi but of nobles with magic ancestry too. Now Zeli struggles to unite the Magi in an Orisha where the enemy is just as powerful as they are, but with civil war looming on the horizon, Zeli finds herself at the breaking point. She must discover a way to bring the kingdom together, or watch as Orisha tears itself apart. That sounds like exciting book, and there is some like picture like this. Who knows what that is? That is one thing actually. Like there was map in this book, but what was it for? Lagos, Gombe, like only Ibeji, Chandomble. Okay, Lagos and the Holy Temple, but like it felt like I couldn't really follow the map at all. Oh, there is Ibadan. Like whatever was mentioned, it was not on the map, but now I see that some places were, but not all of them. So that was a little annoying. Um, am I the only one who read the name Amari and thought about a completely different book? Nope, 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 nope. I also thought Amari all the time. Amari and what is it? Night Brothers. Yeah, I was also thinking, like every time I heard Amari, I was thinking about Amari and the Night Brothers. Not just you, both Jake and I were listening to the audiobook and kept thinking of Amari and the Night Brothers. Yep. Hello. Wait, what happened here? I got the comments twice. Okay, it's going crazy. The comments multiplied. Okay, now I got the comments 3 times over. What happened? I don't know. But yeah, no, it wasn't just you. I was also thinking of Amari and the Night Brothers. Yeah, unless there is something else specific we want to pick out now, maybe we can go through the Copal system and discuss each category as we go. So first we have characters, and here we kind of can think about if the characters were memorable, if the secondary characters were distinguishable, important, or additive to the story. Did you care about what happened to the characters? Were they flat or one-dimensional? Do you have a good idea of their personality? Would it be easy to describe them to a friend? Um, I think the characters were good. I think we got pretty like a good grasp on them, but it did feel like there could be a lot more character development. I mean, we had great character development of Inan, but otherwise, like it felt like we don't know their personalities. We know um, who or what they think is right or wrong, but I wouldn't say that I know their personalities or know their quirks or anything like that. So I think the characters could have used a little bit more work, to be honest. I also liked how Zeli's brother had the struggle for protecting his sister and also seeing her throw herself in dangerous situations. Yeah, definitely. Um, that was very interesting, and I actually liked it. which is why I hate it so much that it was there, that he was just so tired of her getting into this dangerous situation, like choosing it herself, that he like leaves. And then when something happens, he's like, oh no, I promised Baba, I promised Mama I would take care of you, and then I left. I'm like, so yeah, you did. Um, and Amari actually reminded you of that in your spur of the moment thing, and you still decided to go. So like, you just say sorry. You don't need to explain like why you feel sorry. I don't know, I felt like that didn't really, that it didn't sit well with me, that he left and then the way he apologized for it. I was like, yeah, you knew that all along. Like, what are you trying to, what are you playing at? We had a bit of everything: a princess trying to find herself, a girl who had been crushed. Yes, definitely. A prince who is what he is fighting against, and a brother who is completely useless to the story, if I'm being honest. Did he do anything at all other than being love interest to Amari? He didn't do anything whatsoever. He only had the friends that, yeah, that's the only thing he did. He had the friends and went to the friends to break into the palace to save Zeli, but otherwise, he was useless in the book. Most of her life finding strength, the brother allowing her to take more of an active role, etc. They are memorable, but as you said, there's a lot of room for character development. But that's probably in the next book or later in the series. Yeah, could be. Especially since it's YA, it might be a little bit lighter than you would have it in adult book, adult fantasy. So maybe you gotta give it a little break there. But I feel like there would definitely be space to improve the character development. So I think I'm gonna give it like a 6.5, because I feel like 6 is a bit too rude, and 7 is a bit too high in my opinion. So I think characters I put 6.5. Mm, yeah. Next category we have atmosphere. How immersive was the read? Were you able to picture the setting, the characters, the creatures? Was the energy in the scene palpable, or was it not very convincing? I would say 7 for characters, yes. Or you mean for the atmosphere? You mean for characters? Yeah. For atmosphere, I'll go for 6 for the characters. Yeah, we are about the same area there. Um, Atmosphere. I think that might be what I struggled with the most, to be honest, because especially from the beginning, it felt like very set up, and the whole ritual situation, like, oh, now you ran away, you got the scroll, and suddenly when there is this ritual that needs to be done in 2 weeks, how convenient. In 2 weeks is the last time that you can do this ritual, or the magic will be gone forever. How convenient, honestly. Like that kind of, that could be more of a writing, I guess. But in a way, it was the atmosphere of it. Like, I did not believe any of these like descriptions about the rituals or the magic, and what was the scroll supposed to do. It is like there was written the ritual, what she was supposed to say. I don't know. uh, so maybe that would be more of a writing, but that kind of comes hand to hand, hand in hand with the atmosphere, where I a lot of times didn't feel anything. I think for me, like, the first half book was very bleak, and I was just trying to get into it and nothing was happening and it was not good. But then the second half, I think, really like stepped it up, and I was able to enjoy it more and able to see the scenes more in my head. So I think in the first half the atmosphere would be like 3, and in the second half it would be maybe like 7. Like, it was okay. So overall it might be quite low actually, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. Atmosphere 8. Okay, wow, nice. For atmosphere, I'd say 8. Okay, mainly for the boat scene. Yet the boat scene totally missed me. Everybody was saying the boat scene. To be fair, it did remind me of a different book that I read just a few months ago, and it was exactly the same scene. And I just was like, it's just the same. And the entire time I was thinking about the other book, so that's probably the fault of that. But I couldn't see the boat scene. I was just like, I just know what's gonna happen here. Like I know, I don't know. The scene was well done, and you could almost feel the urgency and the fear. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Same. Also, the village burning down. I also totally missed the village burning down. Like, again, this was the first half, and I could not like. Suddenly, the village was burned, and I was like, what? How did that happen? And I do admit this could have been because I was very distracted when I was reading the first half. So maybe I just get distracted easily, but I think that's also like part of the book that I get distracted easily when reading, because if the book is really good, I will not get distracted as easily and I'll be really into it, but I wasn't. So yeah. What book was that? It was The Will of the Many. That's quite in the beginning, so I don't think it's that like it's not a spoiler to say. But yeah, it was The Will of the Many that had a scene like that, and that one came after this one. So if anything, Will of the Many stole it from here. If we would think of stealing, I don't think that's what happened, but just saying. Um, so yeah, for me, atmosphere would be pretty low. I did not enjoy the first half. Um, Yeah, and that's hand in hand with writing. So I'm just gonna say 5 because yeah, I was not didn't work for me. The Will of the Many, yes, yep. You remember the scene, Larissa? It was there. It was way more brutal than this, like way more brutal. Um, I even had to put it away because it gave me anxiety. It was like what was this? Will of the Many was maybe like 10 times worse or 20 times worse. It was one of the worst scenes, maybe top 3 scenes I've ever read in a book was in The Will of the Many, the boat scenes. Um, I know it could be because of my anxieties, but it was also a terrifying scene. So yeah. Next category we have writing. Did you enjoy the writing style? Was the prose to your liking or unique? Was it hard to follow or not very readable? How was the dialogue to narration ratio? Did it flow very easily and felt beautiful but effortless at the same time? Would you be keen on picking up another book from this author, even if it's a different genre? I think, yeah, when it comes to the dialogue to narration ratio, or like if, yeah, for me, it felt a little repetitive sometimes. Um, it felt like we were saying the same things over and over, and the characters were thinking the same things over and over. And like, I know that that is how people work and how our brains work, but at the same time, that's not how you write books, is it? So it felt a little repetitive at times, and I felt like, but I already read this. Can we just move on? Like we already discussed this. Let's get to it, kind of thing. But otherwise, I think it was really good. It didn't grasp my attention in the first half as much as in the second half. But overall, I did enjoy it. Um, the second half was pretty good, I would say. I love that book. Yeah, I know. And I'm sorry, I hated it. So I am happy you loved it, but I could not stand it, honestly. I gave it 2 stars for what? For some of the original ideas or some things. I think 1 star would be for that boat scene specifically because, as I said, I had to put it away and actively choose a different book, very light book, and like distract myself because that was a terrifying scene. That would be 1 star. and the other star would be maybe just like overall how, yeah, the ending. I think that the plot twist is something that could potentially make me pick it up again, but everything else I didn't like about the book. So that's everyone their own. Don't say sorry for that. Yeah, exactly. I'm really sad though, because I knew you loved it so much. I knew so many people loved it as like the best book ever, and I was so excited. But it just did not work for me whatsoever. Anyway, yes, I agree. Whether that's because it's a YA or no, or not, I don't know. But it could have benefited from thesaurus at some point. Yes, I do agree. Yeah, it was no like you didn't have any beautiful writing. There was maybe like one memorable thing where I remember like this was very nicely done. Was the chapter where Zeli admits to Inan, I think it was to Inan, that she's afraid all the time and how terrified she is all the time. And I thought that was very well written and I really like that. But then it never comes back. It's never again reflected on that, yeah, she's going to do this fight and she's terrified, or she's being tortured and she is terrified. Like it's never brought up again. So this is the kind of thing that bothered me in the book. Like it didn't feel a whole thing for me, which is okay. I mean, it's still a first book. Maybe it will come in the following book because there are two more. But it still left me like there could have been more in this book. But yeah, I thought it was fast paced. I don't really notice the proportions. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's good. That's good. So for writing, I think the writing I would give like 6.5. Again, six seems a bit like rough, and seven is too high. So 6.5. Next category we have plot. Uh, was the pacing good? Yeah, Larissa, you said the pacing was fast, so maybe that's good. I don't know. Or it was fast paced. That's what you said, yeah. Were there any parts of the story where you thought things have dragged on and got a bit tedious? Was overall plot satisfying? Were the reveals worth the journey? Was this plot in any way unique from the other books you've read? Did it surprise you in any way? Has it left you wanting to know more? Was it too complex, too bland, or just right? 8 for writing. Very nice. I'm glad. 7 for writing. Nice. I'm brutal. You see, I'm salty. Um, nice. So, plot. At some point in the book, I was thinking that the plot of this book is so common in fantasy books. I'm getting tired of it. It didn't mean that I enjoyed the book any less because of it, but I felt like we've had this story before, again and again and again, or like over and over and over. Um, I can understand why, because it's a fun plot, but it's a plot we know, and like what it builds on, we just know. Like it just feels like what else is new? But otherwise, I think it was good. As I mentioned, I did not like the ritual thing, or like how that all perfectly add up, just like randomly. Um, I, as we were saying in the threads on Discord, I don't know if anybody was reading those or updating those. Maybe not, but so I'll share it here as well. I think Efka said that the scene where they are kind of fooling around in the water and splashing each other and everything playing in the water, that she thought like she didn't like the scene because it kind of like they were supposed to hurry, they were in danger, they were supposed to continue, and instead they were just chilling out in the water doing nothing. And that she didn't like that scene, but to me that was like the first grain in the book that, yeah, I might actually enjoy this book. Not only like it's okay, but like actually enjoy this book. It was that scene in particular where you're just fooling around in the water being silly, with each other and teasing each other. I actually really, really enjoyed it because it kind of showed the relationship between Zayn and Zeli much more. While before, Zayn was always only complaining about Zeli, but here we could see that they were also actually playful with each other and cared for each other. Um, so I really liked that scene. I understand that, like, of course, then they got caught, um, and it was not good. But to me, these kind of scenes. But again, that's probably more of an adult fantasy thing. That's why they are like 800 pages, because you have this world building, the character building, where you develop these relationships like this in scenes like this are basically meaningless, but they are for building the relationship, making the reader connect to them and see that this is the relationship they have. So I guess maybe that's why it wasn't that much in this one, because it's YA and she doesn't want it to be too long or too heavy. But that was the scene where I felt like I could like this book. Um, and after that, it made sense. The plot was good. I really enjoyed it. I liked where Inan was going, even though I was a little confused towards the end, like what was actually his goal. Like he switched sides, like even in his POV, he was just switching sides without properly explaining why, and I was so confused. Like, wait, what are you? What do you now mean? Like, I was kind of confused about that. Um, and yeah, that's what I would think. A 7 again for the plot, as we already said. Some bits were repetitive, but some parts were new and refreshing, at least to me. Yeah. The part where I forgot the names, whoever it was channeling the spirits at the boat scene, was interesting and new to me. Oh yeah, yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, yeah. Um, so plot, I would give maybe 7 because I did enjoy it, even though it felt like I've read that before. But yeah, I'm gonna kick writing down to 6 because I feel like it wasn't properly explained. At least I didn't grasp it. Maybe it was properly explained, but the diviners and magi, and who are diviners? Do they become the magi, and when? Like, is it only when they touch a magic object, or like this kind of thing? Like I missed, and they were always calling them diviners and magi. I'm like, what is what? I do not know. So that was probably what I missed a little bit. 7 for me as well. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, next up we have intrigue. Ooh, fun one. Were you wishing you could be reading this book instead of doing whatever you were doing, or did it take some mental convincing to pick it up? Were you intrigued to see where the story goes, what happens to the characters, how things will evolve? Did the story hold your attention throughout, or was it not consistent? For me, as I mentioned, not consistent. First half, intrigue would be maybe a 3. Second half, intrigue definitely skyrocketed. Um, so that's good. It's better to do it that way than the other way around and have like really start strong and then it dips, like some other books I've read. And then they got 2 stars. So this is definitely much better because it leaves me on the high note. So yeah, I don't know if I need to say more. I think I described it kind of already. I think intrigue would be like a 6.5. I think 6.5 because I'm thinking 7, but since half of a book I did not really care for it all that much, it feels like maybe same for me. Yeah, nice. Next category we have logic. Were the characters acting in accordance to their motives? Were they clear? Were you able to follow the rules of the world? No. Were those rules broken at any point? Did you have to stop at any point because things did not make sense or you found plot holes? Was the world building sufficient, overwhelming, clear? Do you think the author has left too much unclear or overburdened you with unnecessary information? Did it feel like everything it fit the story setting, motives, background perfectly? I think it did actually. I I don't think I found any plot holes or anything. Um, I think, yeah, the problem I had is that I don't know what the diviners and magi are, but that's probably more of either my personal that I missed it, or writing issue, not logic issue. But I don't think I have any problems with the logic. The only thing would be like I didn't understand Inan's jumping back and forth in the end, where he was kind of like supporting Zelly and he wants to save magic, and then in the next chapter from his POV is like he wants to save Zelly, but he wants to like stop magic. Like where did that happen? Why? That kind of thing. So that would maybe affect the logic part, but otherwise I think it worked. I didn't read the book, but came to say hi. Hello, hi Alex. Just a warning: we are talking about spoilers for the book. So if you plan to read it and do not want to get spoiled, then you better either leave or mute us. But thank you very much for coming by and saying hi. Um, yeah. So logic, and then did we ever find out how the king found the island? How did he know about it? Was that ever explained? Did did Zelly get taken in the palace where they were supposed to save the magic, where they were supposed to do the ritual? Then the island was supposed to disappear the next day, and yet I don't remember that they would take her somewhere on a boat to some different place to hold her prisoner. I'm a little confused about that. Like nothing major, nothing that I would consider like because I didn't even think about it then. But now I'm thinking, how did that happen? Actually, don't remember. Um, so I don't know. So I think I would give logic like 8 because why not? I think that was okay. Um, I think a 7 again for the logic. No plot holes or having to stop to work things out, but some things need fleshing out more. Yes, definitely. I agree. I agree 100%. Um, then also the ending was a little open, which I mean, cliffhanger, so that was great to lead you into the second book. But I did not quite understand what happened. Like Zelly lost her magic, but Amari got magic. Now we read the synopsis of the second book, so we kind of know what happened, but I did not understand. And especially how scared Zelly was. I was like, I didn't connect the dots until I read um, the synopsis on the next one. What are you reading next together so I can join? Well, we have Pod that we are not reading it together, but that's for the book club. But then this month we are supposed to be reading Children of Virtue and Vengeance. That's the next one in this series, and that's the next in the read along that we'll be discussing. And this one, I was not able to squeeze it into Aurelium Readathon. Maybe I will actually like use some scroll for it. I could, I so could. We'll see. Um, but maybe the live show will be then in October sometimes, rather than I mean, as this one is, but maybe a little later because if I'm not able to read it this month, then I'll have to, read it the first thing in the next month. We're discussing the Children of Blood and Bone. Yes, exactly. And that's the read along, so we're gonna be reading the entire thing. Uh, wait. The comments are stupid today. I'm sorry. Did you use Phoenix Keeper for from a friend's TBR? I did not. I use it for Phoenix on the cover or in the title because I got that one, and I did not get the friend's TBR. I think that was Jess was hunting for one. I read Pod. Good. Live show on Saturday next week. I started it yesterday, and I'm on page 3. But the live show will be on Saturday next week. Yeah. The comments are really horrible today. I don't know what's happening. I thought you had it. I was going to say you could use the next book for that. Oh yeah, right. No, I don't have that prompt. Unfortunately. So no. 21% into pod. Very nice. Much further than I am. Yeah, I was thinking like I could squeeze this one in for the jewelry on the cover, but then I still hadn't finished this one, so I counted this one instead. I like how the shiny book is. When I show it, the camera can't focus. Um, so I read this one for the jewelry on the cover, so then this one doesn't fit anything else right now. Um, but I could use the scroll and just read it instead of the, I don't know, the Amber Spyglass or maybe the Uninhabitable Earth. So I read that next month when there is actually the live show for it. So we'll see. Um, okay. And the last category we have enjoyment. Did you enjoy the book overall, and was your enjoyment consistent throughout? Is the question. It was not, as I mentioned already a few times, it was not consistent throughout. I did not like have a great time with it in the beginning, but then I got really into it, and I was really enjoying it, and I wanted to know how it's gonna end. So definitely picked up. So enjoyment, I think I would give like a 7. I think it would be unfair to other books to give it anything more. I think 7 makes sense, which gives it 3.5 stars, which is what I would give it if I was rating it on Goodreads, which I'm not, because I decided I'm not rating YA books on Goodreads unless I'm giving it higher ranking than its average ranking. If I want to rate it 3.5, so it will be 3 stars, and the book has 3.5 or 4.5, I will not rate it on Goodreads because I feel like I'm not objective enough, because in general I know I don't enjoy YA books as much as adult books. So 3.5 for me. But a good start, I would say. I'm definitely intrigued to go into the next one and see what happens. Now we know that all the people who had any magic in their ancestry are now magi's. So it's probably gonna be lots of, but the king died. But there's probably gonna be lots of people who are like faithful, loyal to the king, who will want to fight the good magi. So that's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be very interesting. Um, an 8 for enjoyment. I wanted to know what happens to the characters, and that made me keep listening. So not too bad. Not too bad. That's good. That's good. Um, yeah, I don't know if you read the author's note at the end, and I feel like there is nothing wrong with putting that in a book like that. That's not, or like, you know, talking about that. That's fair and everything. Wait, when was it published? But I feel the way it was compared did not land well with me. 2018. The way it was compared did not land well with me, and I felt like it's completely different situations. Um, like what you're trying to say and compare, to me, doesn't really add up. And especially with like the end, I don't know. It just felt like it didn't really connect well for me to be like, that knocked it out of the park. I know what you tried to do, and it's fantastic the way you did it. No, it felt like maybe you overdid it then, if that's what you were trying to point out. That's how I felt anyway. But overall, I did enjoy the book, and I'm excited to go to this one. This one is a little shorter. Yeah, this one is 400 pages. So this one was 500, so it's a little shorter. So we'll see how this one goes. What POVs do we have? We have Amari, Zeli. Ooh. Oh yeah, this one Diana gifted me, yes. So I hope I love it. We have Inan. We have Zayn, because Zayn is so useless. Inan, Amari, Zeli, Inan. Why don't we have Zayn? Such a useless character, honestly. Now we have the same 3 points of views as we had in the first book. So yeah, this is the next book for the read along that we are supposed to read this month in September and have a discussion at the end of September, beginning of October. So we'll see if I'll be able to squeeze it in for some of the other prompts. I might. Actually, I now decided, like, because I can use a scroll to just swap out the book. And otherwise, I'll read it at the beginning of October, and then the live show will be like maybe second week of October. Which, I mean, this now is also second week of October if we think about it. But yeah, I don't think if I have anything more to say. Do you have anything more to share, or anything more you can think of that you'd like to discuss? I don't think I have anything, and I don't think there was any like book club questions. No, there were not. Yep. So that's it from me. I rated this then 3.5 stars, and excited to read the next one. I'm still not convinced I will buy the third one though. I think that very much depends on what I think of the second one. So fingers crossed. I think we covered everything pretty well. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I think we can then wrap it up here. I don't know if Sasha is still sprinting. If anybody wants to go hang out on Sasha's sprints. I was also thinking maybe I could then continue like normal, like, well, my sprints. Wait, let me check if Sasha is still sprinting. Or if she's not, I'm thinking maybe I could sprint. Because I have lots to do, lots to read. I don't think she's sprinting anymore, is she? No, she wrapped it up already. Yeah, it's gone. So she no, she isn't. She left. Okay. Wait, here. No, looking forward to the next one because this could have been a standalone. Yeah, it could. Um, but I think it might be interesting to see what happens now. Like she failed with the magic, and it was way more powerful than it should have been, and it gave magic to everyone, not only the good magi. Um, and or the good diviners, whatever the distinction is, I don't know. So now she kind of like screwed up, so we're gonna see how that goes. And I think it might be interesting because we'll see the way Amari goes, and Amari is supposed to be the queen, even though why do we have Inan's point of view when Inan was supposed to die? Didn't Inan die? I thought Inan died, and then Amari killed the father. I don't know, but yeah, that it might be interesting to see Amari becoming a queen while being a magi, and how that's gonna connect with what she's been through, and how what she thinks of Zeli or this entire situation, and how she kind of like is a successor to her tyrant father. So that could be interesting. But if it was done a little bit differently, it could have been a standalone. I agree. Shall I see you Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday it is. I mean, it is Sunday, 8 p.m. I don't know if anybody wants to sprint. I think I'll just read on my own, maybe. Unless you really, really want to. Maybe I'll ask on Discord and host some like text chats. Maybe that would be nice. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up here then. Thank you so much for joining the read along and for reading the book with me. It was a lot of fun to chat also as we went. I know not all of you like joined the threads and discussing it after each section, but if you want to, we're gonna do the same for the next book. So I think it's fun to just discuss it as we go and kind of like make theories as how it's gonna go. And yeah, I will set it up. I will set up the sections in which we can do that because I haven't done that yet. And then we'll discuss the Children of Virtue and Vengeance sometimes probably beginning of October. And yeah, I'm very excited. Otherwise, I'll see you on Tuesday on my typical weekly sprints. And yeah, thanks for a fun live show. Thank you for being here and discussing the book with me. I really, really appreciate it so much. So thank you for taking time out of your day to be here, and hope you have a great rest of the day and good evening, and hopefully like nice, calm end of the week and great start to the week tomorrow. So thank you, and I'll see you very soon.